Hey, Mallet, you were right.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
Uh,
$1 million question.
Why?
Do scene changes fix it? Scene changes fix it!
Yeah.
Did it? Okay, good.
Hey guys, welcome back to TRU Talk, where we have technical difficulties pretty regularly, so it's just become a joke of the stream. And Mallet's birthday. Hello. She's excited.
That's on Sunday.
If you can't tell.
I'm very excited.
But this is the TRU Talk episode for your birthday.
Yay!
Yay.
So yeah, guys, tonight I'm joined by Mallet Editor, as always, as well as Chopstixninjah. Welcome.
Hey guys, how's it going?
How are you guys?
Oh, not too bad, not too bad. Finally good to actually be on the podcast because we had some technical difficulties back about a month ago.
Yep.
Don't jinx it! You're
No,
gonna jinx it!
No. It was actually physical technical difficulties. I was super excited actually because I had a humongous project coming up at work. We had like thousands of people to cater for, and it was just actually the right timing. And then you guys came up to me and were just like, "Hey, we got a spot for you this Thursday," and I was like, "Awesome!" So I was actually super ecstatic today. I actually went on a date to keep myself totally distracted. Totally the anxiety going, yeah, you're gonna be live on the podcast. It's gonna be awesome. Told everyone at work, so they're probably tuning in too. The girl I went on a date with, she's tuning in too. She's like, hey, that's kind of cute. Like, what? You're going on a podcast? I was like, right on. So yeah, I'm totally with you guys today, and I totally cannot wait to get uncovering some of those juicy topics with you guys.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that we could have you on, dude, because, like you said, we were supposed to have you on a little while ago, and I think all of us were sick.
Yes.
So we ended up having to cancel that
sick.
night.
And I was
Sucked.
like, oh my god, I feel so bad for you guys, but it's also perfect timing because I gotta go to work and do this like crazy project.
Yeah, it worked out pretty well, I think. But we've got
Yeah.
you here now, and that's what matters, if you ask me. Mallet, how are you?
I'm good. I went to the doctor today. They think whatever's wrong with me is fibromyalgia or something like that. So it ain't gonna kill me, and it ain't gonna be horribly degenerative and totally. So I'm actually thrilled about that. And my birthday is on Sunday. So
Yeah.
yay! As you guys can see, I've got a party hat. And I've got a party horn, and I've got lots more party hats and party horns back here. So I'm very excited.
Good. That's exciting. You said that's on Sunday, right?
Yep.
Okay, so remember, everyone, Sunday, you have to wish Mallet a happy birthday, or she's going to be upset. I need to fix this microphone stand. It's
And
been
what time are you going to be doing that episode at?
breaking.
Oh gosh. Now it's your own technical difficulties.
Yeah, I keep forgetting. I need to tighten the screws and stuff on it. But whatever. It doesn't matter. We'll fix it later. What matters is
Later.
we're going to get to know Chopstixninjah now.
Awesome.
Are you prepared?
Awesome.
Because
I'm
we're going to
totally
grill
prepared. Ooh.
These are
Are
serious
we?
questions.
Okay,
Are we?
all right, let's do it.
So
let's do it.
let's start things off with the usual question. Give us a brief overview of your stream, your channel, and just kind of how you got started on Twitch.
All right, so it actually started way back about years and years ago when PS4 and Xbox were totally dominating like the streaming world. PC was still kind of working out the kinks for the Twitch and all that fun stuff, and I was just like, hey, you know what? Pop on, and it was actually YouTube is where I actually started, and Twitch was kind of like, you're in my thunder, and I love you, Twitch. I'm just gonna come over to you. It was actually really juicy subject. And at that time, I was actually going through culinary school, and it was kind of on and off. But I actually had a lot of people from Europe. So along that line, I actually learned how to speak Polish. So that was kind of cool. My best friend's Polish, so that kind of ties in with everything. So it was kind of a neat little aspects. And what really got me started is like one time, I can't remember who it was. I can't remember if it was like a family member or it was an ex-girlfriend or something. But they're like, "Why do you video game? It's a waste of time." And I'm like, all right, it's time to prove them wrong. You tell me to do something, we do it. It's that thing where you tell your kid you can't do something, you do it, and it's just gonna happen. It's like you can never cook, and well, hey, look, I'm a chef, right? So that was probably one of those big things where I was just kind of kicking it. So then I took like probably about a 4 or 5 year hiatus, and then I was like, you know what, I'm back in the Toronto scene. I'm back out here. I could finally focus on it. And well, my brother just kind of threw like a $6,000 computer at me and was like, here, start. And I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. And also I'm going back to school, hopefully in the next 2 years for radio broadcasting. So that kind of all ties into everything as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, those actually kind of tie together perfectly. Of you have to talk a lot.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. That's definitely one of the bigger things. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. So I have a question. You say you're a
Absolutely.
chef. You say you're a chef. Do you know where the lamb sauce is?
Top shelf. I always put it on the top shelf. There's a reason why you put it on the top shelf.
So that way you don't get yelled at. Okay, that was my
Exactly.
question.
Exactly. Always the top shelf.
So, what is the story behind the username? I think I have an idea, but I want to get the full story.
So everybody has been asking me, and I've been keeping it a secret for the last year. And I was like, I have to wait till something big happens. And you guys pulled up the podcast. So here we go. I finally get to reveal the name. All right. So I was actually sitting there eating one of my favorite ramen shops out here. In Canada, it's really hard to get a lot of authentic Japanese ramen. So these guys are like the hot sauce. And I was sitting there eating it one day and watching Ninja, and I was like, I can't watch this guy anymore. So I was eating chopsticks, and I ended up dropping my chopsticks, and I was like, that caught me in the eye because my old username used to be SaucedOut891. And the reason for that being is I used to work at a Swiss Chalet, and we used to hate making the sauce. So all of our team that we used to stream with back in the day all had sauced out names, and like, you know, on the sauce or sauced out or whatever, so on and so forth. And I was just like, you know what? Chopstixninjah makes an absolute like perfect combination. And I was just like, it's not because I'm trolling Ninja, but everybody else there has Ninja in the name. But if you notice, my name has an H at the end of it. So it's like Ninja, kind of like a chilling out ninja. And I was actually just chilling out, eating some ramen, watching Ninja. And I was like, that's a perfect thing. Like, I have to. And right after I made my name, an artist from, I can't remember what website, he got on and he was just like, hey man, I got something for you. And I was like, okay. So, and that's how that started with the whole name.
Okay.
Okay.
That's probably one of the more interesting stories I've heard.
I love it. Now I'm hungry.
All thanks to ramen.
Now I'm hungry. Oh, I love a good ramen. I had duck ramen one time, and it was just melt in your mouth. I don't even like duck most of the time, but man, that was good.
Oh, so good.
I know. Just like
So then,
duck and
other than ramen, what keeps you motivated to stream on Twitch, and what do you love about Twitch so much?
What I love about Twitch so much is, you know, every streamer starts off somewhere. And the biggest thing is, like, even as, I wouldn't even say I'm even a big streamer out there, you know, even if it's 10 people, 20 people, 30 people, 40 people, even 50 people, is you got to appreciate that those people are actually coming in to view you. And I've had some people even reach out to me. There was actually a guy in one of the Twitch groups I was in quite some time ago, I'm not going to name any names, but his thing was actually My Little Pony. And we actually got in touch with an artist, and we made this really cool, sadistic looking My Little Pony for his like Twitch thing. And I guess the biggest thing about streaming is that you get to, how do you say, network and get to know a lot of people. And that's probably one of the greatest things out there, especially when you help somebody and they're just like, dude, thank you so much, man. Like, you've been the biggest help ever. And you're just like, you know what? One day I'm going to be a dad. I'm going to be super proud, just like I'm proud of you. You know what? You're my son. Come here. I'm going to give you a big pat on the head. You know, so like, you know, I get a little teary-eyed about it. It's totally awesome about those kind of things. So like, I think that would have to be the biggest thing that I enjoy about it. It's not about making a profit. It's not about selling anything or, you know, anything like that. And like, even me just sitting here, I'm actually just sitting on a nice little lawn chair right now because like my gaming chair is in repairs at the current moment. My dog kind of got a hold of one of the rolly things, but anyways, yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah, so yeah, that's probably the biggest thing is actually networking and talking to people.
Okay.
what type of puppy?
He's a Doberman.
Oh, I want to see.
I don't know where he is at the current moment. He's somewhere.
Aw.
He's the
Hi,
mascot every once in a while.
puppy.
He'll just pop
Hi,
up randomly
puppy.
in the show later.
He might actually.
Pet him for me. I love puppies.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense and is actually something I was listening to another podcast earlier today, and they were talking about Twitch and streaming on Twitch and why people do it. Because this was a podcast that is from a production company who does online video. They don't do streaming.
Oh, wow.
And they're like, well, we moved to this because people got tired of network television saying you have to watch this at 7 o'clock. They said everything's on demand. You watch it whenever you want. So people moving almost back to this timed thing it's almost very personal because it's not like they're watching, you know, CSI at 7 o'clock. They're watching you at 7 o'clock. They're
That's
taking
cool.
time out to watch you and you alone at that time. So that's like a huge connection of people on Twitch, is that they're going to take time to make sure they are at their PC or have their phone at this certain time to watch one individual person. I think that's really cool.
Absolutely. And that kind of ties in with something that I was reading earlier today. There was an artist that was talking about social media. I know I actually brought it up earlier on the thing. And it's really cool, as you were saying, is that social media has actually quite literally taken over the world. Do you guys remember MSN? Like,
Yes.
how many years ago with the dial-up internet and somebody called your house and you're like, oh my
Oh, God. I either have to get off the internet or something.
like, oh my God, that was just so terrible. But now you look at it, it's just like everybody, especially if you capture an audience. And that's the biggest thing, is capturing that audience. And I think having to do something like that is one of the coolest things. And some of the kitchens I've worked in, I've had to be in an open concept kitchen. So I totally agree on that.
Yeah. So is there anything else that you want to let the people know about your stream, about what kind of games you play, anything you want to tell them about yourself before we move on to our topics?
Cool. Absolutely. Right now, as some people know, if they've watched MPI in the past, especially the Spider-Man. Yeah. I was totally on one of those episodes where you're doing
I
your
love
Spider-Man thing.
Spider-Man.
Oh man, the
Game
episodes
was
are so awesome.
So good.
So every
good.
once in a while, I do episodes. Right now, I'm actually working on an older game that got remastered recently called Tales of Symphonia. I do a lot of RPG gaming, but hey, every once in a while I stream off, and it's just like, hey, a couple FPS isn't too bad every once in a while. But we do the episodic things, and right now I'm totally running Final Fantasy 14 online and Guild Wars 2. So we're doing that. I'm currently getting in touch with another streamer called Pixie Peach. She's doing something for a Crisis line, but at the same time she's getting partnered with ArenaNet, so that's kind of pretty cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
We're going to be doing a fundraiser stream on Guild Wars. We're going to be doing something like 9 hours of like fundraising for like PvPing. So probably going to grow gray hair in my beard that day.
That's okay.
Other than that, the channel is actually pretty cool. Everyone's welcome. Everyone's coming by. As long as you're not a butthead, everyone's welcome. And any subject is welcome.
Cool. Sounds like a very, very open community then.
We've talked about macaroni one episode. It was interesting.
Stop talking about food. You're making me hungry.
We somehow talk about food like every day on my stream, and I don't even understand how. It never makes sense how it comes up. It'll just come up, and we're just talking about food, and then it's been a 30-minute conversation about food, and then everybody's hungry. And it's like...
Yeah, now I'm hungry because there's totally frosting in my fridge, and I want to go get a spoon and eat it.
Hey, that's always good.
I know, it's delicious. It's so bad for you, but it's amazing. And somehow I went to the doctor today and I've lost weight, even though I've literally been eating frosting directly out of a can.
Maybe that's the secret, is to eat frosting directly out of a can.
I wish. If that was the secret, then we'd all be skinny.
Fair.
I can think of some people who may not eat a lot of frosting directly out of a can, and those are NCAA football players. So, guys, that is a perfect segue into our first topic tonight.
Bam!
The NCAA is looking into athlete compensation for player name and likeness usage. If you guys... My power just flickered. I was on a roll.
Oh, hi.
Oh, no.
I was on a roll.
Did it end?
Electricity, calm down.
No, did it end?
Okay,
Nope, we're
so
still on. We're still on.
They're looking at this, and if you guys don't remember, there was NCAA football and Madden football from EA back in the day.
EA Sports.
The NCAA would not allow players to be paid to be in the game, so they stopped working.
That they did. I remember the strike too.
Yep. And now they are looking at reopening this and being able to bring these games back. There's nothing guaranteed. There's nothing that's like set in stone. They're not doing it. They're looking into doing it. The direct quote is that they're forming a working group exploring how college athletes could be compensated for schools using their names, image, and likeness.
Yes. Another interesting little topic on that is the NCAA is actually splitting from EA and signing a 3-year contract with an outside company to make those videos. So they're actually separating. Yeah. And so they're going to be getting paid also third party on top of that from this other company that they're signing with. They haven't released the name or anything like that, but they have separated from EA. So that's a good news.
Screw you, EA.
Totally
Is
true.
this our weekly I Hate EA segment?
It is.
Oh, doggo.
This is our weekly I Hate EA segment.
Yeah. But I know that there's a lot that goes into these, like, college players that can and can't be paid for certain things, and they can be for certain other things, and it's a whole thing. It's never made a whole lot of sense to me because, you know, these college athletes go to school, they practice sometimes twice a day for hours a day, then they have to do their classes. Where's the time to make money to live on? And, you know, a lot of them have scholarships, but those scholarships aren't, you know, paying for all of their food. And these are, you know, athletes. They work out all day. They eat a lot.
Exactly.
So not having a job is not super easy to do, I'm sure. So
no.
Not being able to be paid for something like this seems dumb.
I mean, I've thought these athletes millions are being made off of their faces.
Yep.
Millions are being made off of their bodies.
Yep.
But you got to be professional, and that's like, I mean, I'm totally with this whole aspects of NCAA doing this, and this even goes for people that are doing like soccer or baseball or anyone that's getting out there. Once you get to a certain level, especially college, because my brother was actually bringing this up while he was in culinary arts, because he was actually going for Team Canada to be on their volleyball team. He's like, the only problem is like, it's going to be coming out of my own pocket. So like, I don't get any recognition. I don't get any pay. I'm just out there to do my thing. And you know, if they make a video game off this, do I get compensated? I don't know. And it's like, that's totally unfair to them. So I agree with that on a whole level, like, especially like streaming too. You can even bring streaming into that as well on a whole new level, because there's like, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going over to Mixer because, you know, like Tim the Tatman or Ninja are totally running Twitch right now because they're like the big guys or something like that. That's not even the case. If you remember, those guys started with like duct tape cameras to the wall, and they were just doing it because they were having fun. They still are just having fun. But for the smaller guys, now Twitch is bringing out those things where they compensate things. Like now we're having more sub badges where we can have that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, that brings in more viewers because they're going, hey, those guys are doing a lot more things. So I agree with the whole, like, let's get the attention out there for like the college stars and stuff like that, because, hey, I wanted to be on a baseball team, but I focused more on chess and cooking. So
No, absolutely. I mean, millions are being made off of these guys, and they don't see a penny of it. They're being forced, like, I mean, you know, there's all this debate, I guess, about, you know, athletes declaring directly for drafts. Like, for the two sports I probably know the best college-wise are football and basketball. Basketball, you can declare after 1 year. Yeah. Football, you have to wait until you're like 21. Like, you have to wait until you're like 21 or 20 or something like that. Which is ridiculous. It's like, so not only are they, like, if you've got the talent, no wonder you see so many like one and dones in college basketball, because they don't want to get hurt.
Yep.
Because they're not getting paid to fix their medical bills, and medical bills in the U.S. are freaking expensive.
I agree. I actually had a United States band come up about 2 years ago. They were spending the night at my house. Kind of cool little side story about this. But the cool little thing about that is that they brought up their medical bill because one of them had an injury on the road or whatever, and I got to see it, and I was like, so you see all these numbers, guys? Scratch all those out, and that's given to you for free here. And they went, what? Excuse me? So, like, why can't it be like that everywhere? And I try to keep off the politic ends of things, but absolutely, I agree with you on that.
I just saw a puppy. I totally just saw a puppy.
Yes, Doggo's in the background somewhere. He was just
Hi,
here.
puppy! Hi, puppy! Who's your good puppy?
Yeah, and, you know, we don't have to... I don't know that they need to be paid, like, a salary because they're playing the game, because that's what the scholarship kind of is. You know, they're giving you the education.
Just a cut.
But, hey, you're selling a video game with my face and my name in it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Come on.
Thank you. It's just like,
I mean, do you really think that, like, when they make the NBA or Madden games, the players aren't getting something out of their faces being put in there?
Well, that's where it comes into with the NCAA. These are NCAA rules that college athletes can't be paid for these things.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, any other person in the universe, if a video game is made using their likeness, they get paid. like any other person in the universe. I don't care. Like, whether it's like you're a famous person whose likeness is being made, like you're an athlete, celebrity, or you're a voice actor who's doing mocap work, you're still getting paid.
Exactly.
Why is it that just because these kids are in college, why does the NCAA think that, oh, they don't need to pay? Just because they're in, I mean, come on. How many people were making money before? I know many of us had jobs before, if we went to college, many of us had jobs before that happened.
Mhm.
Many of us
heck
worked
yeah.
while we were there.
The
It's
good old
stupid.
parental talk.
It's
Your boss good
stupid. The
as
whole
well.
thing's stupid. It's like, pay them.
I agree.
You
I fully agree.
like the leads of the NCAA would, like, the head of the president of the NCAA wouldn't let his likeness go out anywhere without getting paid.
Yeah, to be
What
fair,
makes
nobody
them
wants
any
his
different?
likeness, though. Yeah, so do you guys care about the game itself? Like, is this something that you think would be exciting to see come back? We talked about this a little bit before the show, Chopstixninjah, you and me.
Absolutely.
I love football, first of all.
Me too.
Uh,
Me too.
and
That's a place in my heart.
I
Your
used
team sucks, MPI.
Look, Mallet, I hope that your birthday's not as good as you think it's going to be. See? It's not nice to interrupt people with mean stuff.
Okay,
what you
MPI's
get.
being mean to me.
So I like the college football games more than the Madden games whenever I played them. I don't know what it was about it. I just liked it
I think they went
more.
more in depth. I think they went more in depth with like the training camps and like the actual like brutal things that you have to go through to be a football player. And at the time, Madden hadn't brought out those training camps. You were just going to games, doing your season, running your online fantasy drafts and all that fun stuff, going, ho ho. And these guys were just like, no, you must run like 10 drills in the morning and throw footballs to your buddy and run these drills. And then you're like, your skill will go up for passing. And you're like, yes.
It felt like more of a game than a simulator.
Yeah, it felt more of like a game where you actually had like some objectives to actually kind of complete. I don't know about the new NCAA football games. I mean, I was rocking like PS1, PS2, and PS3 NCAAs, but I haven't played any for the PS4 yet.
The last one, I don't think there were ever one for the PS4. The last one that came out was 2013.
Oh my god, I'm about to shed a tear.
So yeah, the last one that I played was on the Xbox 360. And
Fair.
it was like that. Like, you built your character, you did your career, you like went through getting an apartment and things. And I was like, this game's fun. And then Madden came out, and it's like, I mean, this is nice, but I run play, I get tackled. I run play, I get tackled. And it was like, I just did that over and over again. And then the new Madden games came out, and they went from, if you made a character, where the old Madden games you could play as anybody. So, like, let's say you made a wide receiver. You would play the whole play. You'd snap it as the quarterback. You'd throw it to the wide receiver. You'd run it as the wide receiver. The new Madden games, the last one that I played was, like, 2015. You didn't do that. You made your character, and you played that position, and that was it. So if you made a quarterback, you were a quarterback. You snapped the ball, you handed it off and threw it, and then you just stood there. You just like, how is this fun?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, this is defeating the purpose. Like, I was like, I'd rather go play a baseball game. And a lot of people fall asleep in baseball. It's like watching golf. I mean,
right.
You know, so like baseball, like I was like, I'd rather go play a baseball game. Smacking the ball right now seems a lot more interesting than just being like, throw the ball or snap off to this guy and just stand there.
I agree. So I hope if they do this, I want to see it go back to what the last NCAA games were like. I want that formula, and I want them to stick to it because it worked and it was fun. So if this goes through, which there's no telling how long it's going to take. I mean, it even says like they expect to present a final report on the matter in October to the Board of Governors.
Yep.
That sounds like they're going to present it, and then they're going to argue back and forth for God knows how long.
Oh yeah.
And never be able to come to a resolution.
Yeah, exactly. So like when that comes on, when that comes to the table, I'm expecting a good like 4 or 5 month gap where they're going to be arguing back and forth between what's going to go on.
Yeah.
I hope that they dabble into it because if I'm not mistaken, NCAA did come out with something. Don't think it was like the 2013 version, but it was one of the older ones just before. Actually, it was just before. Actually, it was at the PS3 launch where you could actually go be like line 2, and like you could actually like talk into your microphone and like call out your lines and stuff like that. So
Oh
I
yeah, it's
hope they
probably
keep
with the
that little.
Connect.
Yeah, it was with the Kinect. That's what it was, and like it was so cool. And I really hope they keep that aspect because you can't do that in Madden at all.
Mhm.
Ever. And so I had to add that in there.
It'd be a
before we
hard
move on.
sell because I don't think much uses that anymore. You know, I mean,
Oh.
Microsoft discontinued the Kinect. I don't think PlayStation's putting a lot of focus behind the camera, whatever it was called. I
Yeah.
know at one point it was called the PlayStation Eye. I don't think it's called that anymore. And now their whole
I-
focus is VR.
Yeah, yeah.
But
So I don't know. I don't know. I hope they don't make that a VR game. NCAA, I'll cry.
yeah,
I'll cry.
that could be fun though. I could see that being fun. First person VR football. I'd play that.
Yeah,
People
but that's
getting
when
tackled.
somebody. Yeah, but that's when like you get so startled by getting tackled, you fall backwards, break your coffee table, and then try to sue EA.
It's called immersion.
It's called immersion.
It's called a lawsuit.
I'm sure that they could put some legalese in the user agreement that says if you break something because you fall over, you can't sue us.
Yeah,
They have to.
absolutely.
There's a
They
cat.
would have to.
Look at that cat.
Kitty, kitty,
Cat, cat. Hi, cat.
kitty,
Squeeze.
kitty.
I'm having way too much fun with this.
I
and
know. If
believe
I could
me,
take
if
it away
wouldn't
from you, I
annoy-
would.
Why?
Let me reach over to that.
I think it's louder through a microphone than you think it is.
I have one headphone off for purposes.
I'll just start like blowing it right in my microphone. Rude.
So
Yeah, but MPI, I think your football team exists.
I think yours and your hockey team exist.
Why are you trashing my hockey team? What
Why'd
did my
you have
hockey
to
team
trash
ever
my
do to you?
football team? Came at me for
'Cause you're a-
nothing.
Because you're a Cowboys fan, dude.
You're a Panthers fan.
Wait,
Yeah, I know,
Wait,
and it's
wait,
an
wait,
odd
wait.
numbered year, and we're gonna do great this
I
year.
get it.
Hold
You
up,
have
hold up.
your quarterback, and that's it.
MPI,
Congratulations.
you are a Cowboys fan still?
Yeah, I'm
Hold up.
sorry.
We have a running back and a linebacker. Thank
It's
you.
literally America's team.
I'm gonna
Why
have to
does
be on
everybody
MPI.
hate you?
I'm gonna have to be on MPI's side right now.
Why?
Although the Steelers will take the cup this year. Anyways,
Then
I
you're
will
not
say,
on his side.
No, but see, you know, I've always deep down inside since like 1993, and I watched my very first football game. It was Cowboys versus Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, it was a very hard decision, but I was a Cowboys fan until about high school, and I totally got chirped for being a Cowboys fan. So I totally switched Steelers for a little bit, but Cowboys forever in my heart. Got you, MPI.
That's right.
Got you, man.
Wasted.
I don't even know her hockey team, so it's okay.
We're losing, so it's okay.
So we were just talking about both Microsoft and Sony. So,
perfect swing into
here-
the next subject.
This is a very interesting thing that I found today, and for me, the headline was a little misleading. But the headline, let me read it, is Sony and Microsoft team up on tech. First glance, people are going to think, we're getting a mixed console. Spoiler alert, it's not that. So basically, Sony and Microsoft have announced a partnership that's going to involve both of them working together and using what they're both good at to make technology for gaming better. A big thing that they're using is, I'm going to probably butcher this if I say it improperly, I'm sorry. Microsoft Azure and cloud technology is the two big things that they're working with. So
Correct.
basically, this is kind of our next step and push, if I have to guess, of them moving to more cloud-based gaming, like we've talked about before with Google Stadia, what was Project Stream. There's a few other ones from some other companies as well. But I'm thinking this is their big push for that. And they're hoping, maybe not this next release, because they're just now partnering up, but the next console release will be pure cloud.
I'm
So-
totally supportive for cloud. Sorry.
What do you guys think about the two companies coming together? Microsoft and Sony have not worked super well together, so I'm curious to see how this all goes.
Well, do I have some juicy goods? Because this is what I was researching. Well, on my day today, she actually helped me out with a little bit of that research. Booyah! But I'll let you guys go ahead first.
No, please.
Oh, okay, fine. I totally will. So this is actually one of the cool little things. Now, Sony and Microsoft have been battling for like decades. Let's be real here. Ever since like PS1 came out, Microsoft was sitting there going, "Man, now we got to come up with a system." And it took so many years, and they came out with the original Xbox. Oh, the nostalgia, and Halo. Oh, Halo. Anyways, so when it comes down to something like that, I am actually super pumped. I have a feeling that they're actually going to put their differences aside and actually be like, okay, let's do something. Because I read an article about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, and this was through the statistics of Harvard University. Big supporter of those guys too. That game consoles are actually like dying. That PC is just destroying like everything for the gaming world, and that's whether you add in ray tracing to a game console or not. We still have better frame rates, we have better reaction times, so on and so forth, as statistically proven. It takes longer to swing a joystick half a moon than it does to flick a mouse. So it's coming down to a lot of statistics of how things are going to work a lot better. Now, this is going to be the cool part. Microsoft has all that technology where they can start morphing things into things. We might actually even see mouse and keyboard becoming a thing in our future gaming systems, as like Project Scorpio was trying to do. They were trying to make this one controller that had like touchpads and things for quicker reaction times with your fingers and stuff like that. So that came out on our PS4 and our Xbox Ones, which was a cool thing, but they didn't really focus a lot on it. I think Microsoft's going to take a lot of that touchpad technology and pull it out of Sony and be like, come on, man, give us the juicy goods and make something really good. Now, as far as the console cross thing, that has been talked about for, a millennium. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen because, I have a computer that I can play Super Nintendo games on. So that right there's a little key into the future of something of gaming. I'm not going to get into that. That's a big, big topic that is like, you'd have to research really far into things, maybe get into a little bit of trouble to get some information on that. And you don't want to get into that noise. But there is something out there with Nintendo that they're talking about, something that's going to be able to run Atari games, Sega games, and obviously a whole bunch of other different games from other consoles, but PS and Xbox, obviously. So I'm a little excited for it. Now I'll let you guys go on with you.
I think I will be interested to see whether or not this holds up. I really will, because as we stated when we first started this topic, they haven't worked well together in the past. But I do think that probably some of the best gaming minds in the world work at these two companies. And I think if they are able to work together, we're going to be able to come up with something really freaking cool. And
oh yeah.
I look forward to seeing it. Unfortunately, I never played. The only console I ever owned was a Wii.
Yes.
So I don't have much to say on the console front. I'm PC for life right now, but I'm all for it because I think collaboration is what pushes us into the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yep.
and I'm kind of in the same place as you are, Mallet. I'm curious to see how much this holds up. My biggest thing with it is they're going to work together to make cloud-based services, which is where things are going, whether you are with a cloud service or not. That's kind of where things are moving. And my biggest thing that I'm curious about is at what point are they going to start trying to keep things secret for their consoles? Stop it. It's the second time my power flickered. Third.
Oh, I saw it. Yeah, there you go. Wow.
I think it's your cat licking herself in the background.
She might be making so much static electricity. God only knows. But so my big thing is they're still going to be competitors when it comes down to consoles. We're not getting a play box or an X station or anything like that. That's not what this partnership is. As cool as that would be, that's not what this partnership is. So
copyright patent.
I'm curious to see at what point do they say, okay, we've made enough together. Now I need to go over here and make my console and keep my secrets, and you need to go over here and make yours and keep your secrets.
And that's the biggest thing, because right now we're having the biggest battles of crossplay.
And right Sony so far is the biggest no.
Exactly. So I hope that unlocks the crossplay and everyone becomes happy. I I would love to play Halo with some of those Xbox juicy guys because they're like, we're totally gonna own you on console on my PC. But like, I you know, that's my only excitement for that. And I really hope that they go, okay, fine, but we're gonna have an exclusive that's totally gonna blow your world. Like, it's just gonna take it out of proportion, and we're gonna take some of your people down. And I have a feeling it's gonna be a constant battle when that happens. But for a business standpoint, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And I think whether or not they are, whether you're a PlayStation, a Sony fan, an Xbox, a Microsoft fan, a PC gamer, a Switch only gamer, if you only play games on your cell phone, technology moving forward is amazing. If we're moving forward to have more opportunities for people to play games or more ways for people to get involved in these games, do it. I'm in. I'm sold. Project
exactly.
Or Google Stadia. I keep wanting to call it Project Stadia, but it's Google Stadia. They announced it. I can play it on my thousands of dollar gaming machine. I can play it on my $100 laptop as long as it turns on my Google Chromecast, on my cell phone, on my tablet, and I can pick it up on any of those and keep going.
Yeah.
If that can somehow happen with these other consoles as well, if I could pick up my phone and play Days Gone on it,
oh my god,
sold.
I know, sold.
That's so cool.
That would.
I've yet to find a game on my phone that keeps my attention, but if I could pick up these big games and play them in some way, for an hour while I'm waiting at the doctor's office or on a bus or whatever, that's awesome.
Oh yeah. I mean, if we actually look at it a little bit right now, when it first came out, depending on what phone you had, it was either an Apple or a Samsung, an Android. You could either have Fortnite or PUBG. Mm-hmm. They were already bringing those to the phone. And I'm kind of like, so they're starting to dabble in this, are they? And that was kind of interesting where they started bringing that to the table, where they were kind of just like, is video games going to be able to work on a phone? And PUBG, well, PUBG has its own division on mobile. I swear to God, it's a totally different ballgame. But Fortnite, oh my God, that was atrocious. But hey, Switch totally works. That's cool. But Nintendo, leading back to this whole thing where people are going to be able to play games together. As Nintendo's been saying for a long period of time, we do this for the people, not for us. Look at the Switch. The Switch is so cool, man. I think it's so cool. Like, that is, oh my God. I remember having those little Street Fighter handheld consoles that you could have in your hands, and that's all the game was. It was just Street Fighter. And now you have a Nintendo Switch, and it's like, okay, I'm not playing Street Fighter. Now I'm gonna go play Zelda and a whole bunch of cool stuff like that. So I agree with you on that fully.
Yeah, and since they're wanting to make all of these consoles cloud services anyway, getting as many people involved that know what they're doing and can make it better, I think needs to happen now before they're releasing a cloud-only console. We need to get this working and test it as long as we can, because the more that we start to add in, the more difficult it gets. I can put a disc in, and great, it works because it's reading it off the disc, or it has downloaded it and stored it on my local storage. Yeah. When you start getting into streaming it, that's a completely separate thing. And I'm not a network engineer, so I can't give the ins and outs of it, but I know that it's different. So to perfect that early makes a lot of sense to me. And I hope that's what they're wanting to do with this, because I know if it comes out and it doesn't work immediately, especially because it's going to be new, people are going to be against it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you see that in video games today for a lot of different things. Like Apex Legends. It was so big when it came out, and then it started dying. And I was just like, oh, come on, guys. It's still a great game. But, hey, I don't trash any video game because a game is a game, right? And I have a feeling you are right on that, because a lot of people, it's just a lot of things where there's graphic glitches or glitches in games when they first come out. And everyone's like, oh, trash game. They weren't ready for launch. That game's done. And it's just yeah, that too, or damn phone. Clash of Clans was one of those. Oh my God, that took over my life. Clash of Clans. Anyways, but yeah, no. Back to the subject at hand. That was one of the biggest things that I was growing up seeing a lot of. Where if it didn't work right away, a lot of people were just like, nope, gone.
Yep.
Yep.
Like Skype, for example. How often do you see people use Skype anymore?
I use it periodically to communicate with my friends because it's free. So I can like video chat with my friends in Europe without having to pay astronomical fees. But that's about it. Yeah, I remember used to use it actually to communicate in online games.
But what about Discord?
Now we got Discord. Exactly.
Yeah.
We have Discord now. And like I think there used to be one back in the day called Xfire, and it used to be like the biggest thing ever. But going back to the whole Skype thing, we now have these where we can FaceTime people. Oh, hi Deadpool. But where we can FaceTime people or, like do things with a Wi-Fi connection where it's not going to charge us astronomical fees, especially when you're working at workplaces. What workplace doesn't have Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like, it worked, but not really. And MSN got taken over by Facebook. You can't find MSN anymore. Thank you, Facebook. But
wait, did you just say thank you, Facebook?
I mean, I still have nightmares thinking I'm logging into MSN and I hear that horrible login noise.
You remember the AOL dial-in?
Oh my god. Yes. The AOL is the best.
So I didn't know this until recently, but apparently you could go in and somehow turn that off through your modem.
Really?
You had to I guess really know what you were doing. I think I was too young at the time to know, but
wow.
it could be done. I don't know how it was done, but apparently it could be done. And I thought that was really interesting. And I wish I would have known that when I was a kid, because I would have tried to figure it out. Probably would have broke my computer, but I would have tried to figure it out.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, no. Back to the thing where it doesn't work and a lot of people, and it was actually a subject that was brought up between a whole bunch of MMORPG gurus that our breed is dying of video games for MMORPGs, because a lot of kids don't have time to sit around and be like, let's level up to level 99 and then go face the bosses. Like World of Warcraft, for example, back in the day, if you were at max level, don't even hop in a raid, man, because you ain't going to survive. You're just going to get one hit and you're done, man. But those were the accomplishments that I feel like as the older generation goes along, we can take that along with us, because everything now, if you look at it, Battle Royale is dominating the gaming world. And things like League of Legends are slowly dying out. And it's like, oh man, this is really what it's coming to. And it's a lot of the fast-paced pickup thing. And they're doing studies now. I remember walking down the street a few weeks ago and I saw this 5-year-old with an iPad jamming Fortnite. And I'm like, man, I wish I had that when I was a kid. I was building sand forts and stuff. But
you want to know what I had when I was a kid?
Oh heck yeah, man! Game Boy Color.
I found it last night and I can't stop showing it off.
No man, yes, that is so awesome. That just
I was a PC gamer even as a child.
I was too.
I had those old learning company games. Do you remember those?
You had a much more productive childhood of gaming than I did. The first video game I ever played.
To do anything for fun.
Oh, the first game I ever played was Duke Nukem 3D.
Oh, mine was RuneScape.
We weren't allowed to do anything. I mean, I wasn't allowed to watch TV as a child.
Fair.
Yeah.
So
that would make sense why you didn't get to play Duke Nukem as a child.
Yeah. I mean,
I probably shouldn't have either.
I enjoyed the games we got to play, except for one night when the power went out and it was the middle of summer, so we had no air conditionings. Well, no, the power didn't go out. The air conditioning went out. So my sisters were in my room playing computer until 10 o'clock, and I just wanted them to leave.
Fair.
Go away.
I had to share a bunk bed in a room with my brother, so we were just up all night playing video games.
Well, I was the oldest, but I also had the biggest room. So the computer was in my room. So the trade-off was, all the toys and stuff were in my room because I had the biggest room, which is great, but not when they're in there from the moment I wake up in the morning to the moment I go to bed. And when you're 11, 12, you want your own space.
Right. Makes sense.
Fair.
So I think that we've talked this particular streaming conversation into the ground. But there's another streaming conversation we can have about Netflix.
You are on point with your transitions tonight.
I know, right?
I know, so on point.
So, Netflix, a lot of you may have heard of it, you may not have, I don't know, has made a
Let's save
tweet
the best for last.
that they're going to be at E3 with a quote that says, "Bringing your favorite shows to life, developing Netflix originals into video games."
Bum, bum,
So they're going to be at
bum.
E3 Coliseum. So they've done some things like this already. They had Minecraft Story Mode. They took that over from Telltale. They had the what was it? Black Mirror Bandersnatch.
Yes, Bandersnatch. Yeah, that was.
That was messed up, but it's Black Mirror. Black Mirror is always messed up.
See, I like Black Mirror, and I couldn't really get into Bandersnatch. The first choice that I made, it told me it was the wrong choice and made me start over. I was like,
That's not possible.
This defeats the purpose of a choose your own adventure game.
That's not possible. The first choice was pick a cereal.
Mine wasn't. My first choice was, do you want to work with a video game company?
No.
And I said yes, and they said, no, that's not what you want to do. You should go back and do it again. And I was like, this is stupid. I quit.
What?
Well, no, that's just one of the endings.
Well, no, it's like, you made the wrong choice, is what it said. It's like, you made the wrong
one
choice.
Of the endings.
What a
That's actually
shitty
one of the
ending.
endings.
That's a terrible ending. The newer one is it with Bear Grylls, or what's the other guy? I think it's Bear Grylls. Pretty sure it's Bear Grylls because he was more popular.
Pretty sure it's Bear Grylls. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's him.
So they've made these like choose your own adventure interactive movies, but it's not necessarily a video game. But it is. But it's not. It's a weird place of it. So I'm curious, is this more what we're going to see at E3? Are they going to bring more of these Netflix originals to be choose your own show? Or are they going to actually start making like a Stranger Things game of some kind, for example?
Easter eggs. Now, do you guys remember, I think it was either in season 1 or season 2, can't remember which kid was playing it. He was playing the handheld version of Stranger Things.
I've never seen Stranger Things.
Same.
Oh, damn. Sorry to bring that up then. Okay, so in season 1 and season 2, there was one of the kids that was playing one of the handheld things. So here's a little bit of an Easter egg of what we're talking about. Me being a comic book nerd, is one of the biggest things out there. And Stranger Things has been covered ever since the comic books. People have been talking about it going, what is this? This is some weird stuff. And I totally agree with the upside down world. I'm not going to get too much into detail. So Stranger Things had like the one little, it was kind of like a little Pac-Man kind of like arcade game, except he was choosing the way he wanted to die and where he was going to go and what he was doing in the game. But he was going through the episodes of Stranger Things through the video game, but nobody caught on that it was an Easter egg to the next like 3 episodes, and the 3 episodes happened the way he was choosing the video game. So I have a feeling that will happen where you get to like choose the way the show is gonna go, kind of deal. But I think they might keep that off as a separate section on the Netflix, maybe like a paid service or something like that. But I don't think they'll implement it fully into Netflix. Hopefully.
Well, okay, so my boyfriend and I, we like Black Mirror. So when this new episode came out, we're like, oh, great, awesome, we're going to go watch it. So we get it all set up, and it's like, yeah, your TV isn't new enough to watch this Choose Your Own Adventure episode.
Interesting. I had not heard that before.
What? Yeah. We got lucky. We still got to see it because his sister's TV upstairs was new enough. But they're like, you have to have a certain type of TV to do this Choose Your Own Adventure thing. Like, you can't have, like a Roku box, for example.
Interesting.
Like
I wonder why.
I don't know.
Because you're just pressing left or right. Like,
I genuinely don't know.
Huh. Interesting.
Huh.
But when we watched it, we thought a couple of things. First off, we didn't know what to expect, but it was incredibly smooth. Like, there wasn't like choppy transitions, like fade to black in between each choice. Like, they kept it going, and it was a very, very smooth transition, which surprised me. We didn't really enjoy it though, but I can't tell you for certain if that's just because of the story or because of the format.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he and I, like, we've got different opinions on different Black Mirror episodes, which is what Black Mirror is. You're gonna like some, you're not going to like others. That's just the
Right.
nature of the show.
Yeah.
So maybe Black Mirror wasn't exactly the best show to use that to test it, because like
Yeah.
it's so dependent on story. Like, I mean, there are some things that happen in episodes that I won't talk about on this podcast.
Fair.
I
So-
wonder if this would have been better to start an original series to do it with. Like, have its
I think-
own thing. Or even like this Bear Grylls thing. Because it's not
Maybe.
like... You're probably not following... I haven't watched the Bear Grylls one, but it's like You versus the Wild is what it's called. But I'm sure there's not a lot of story that you're following. It's probably more just trying to survive the wilderness. So maybe something a little less story-driven to kind of introduce you to the mechanics would have been better?
Maybe.
Or an
I mean-
original story that no one has any connection with at all yet.
Yeah, possibly, because there's one section of the Black Mirror episode that basically had myself and my kittens like kind of staring at the screen. It was like, what the heck just happened? And again, that's Black Mirror, but at the same time, it's like the way the choices went, it's just like, what? And actually, like, thinking about it, had they used that format on, let's say, season 1, episode 1 of Black Mirror, which is rather infamous,
Mm-hmm.
if you've ever seen the series, let's just say the British Prime Minister gets to get a little friendly with some animals. Imagine if that had a choose your own adventure.
Maybe
That'd
something
be-
with a little bit more of an impact.
Yeah, or the Killer Bees episode.
Yeah.
I mean,
Actually,
give me Attack on Titan and let me choose how the outcome comes, and we'll. I think an original series would actually be the best, because, like you said, everybody knows the outcomes of certain episodes and so on and so forth. So it'll eventually lose its kind of like thing, and like I think they should do it periodically, where it's just like, okay, well, this year we're gonna bring out 2. We're gonna bring out 2 episodes just for this, because everyone's still gonna be watching Netflix for their original series and blah 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 blah. But half a year for 6 months out of the year, they're gonna do like a certain like kind of show, and then you're gonna be able to choose through it, and then boom, they're just gonna cut that off. Well, not really like cut it off, end it as a show, obviously, and then another 6 months they bring out another Netflix original, and you can be able to choose your story, so on and so forth. So
I
I,
can
don't
see
know.
that.
It's gonna be very tricky. I want to see what they're gonna bring to the table at E3 for sure.
Yeah, and that's what I'm mostly curious about is how much new stuff are we going to see at E3, and how much is it going to be kind of them showing off these things that already exist?
yeah.
And how deep are they wanting to get into this?
Yeah.
Because I don't know that it's something that I'm super into,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know how many people are going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's new, it's different, it's exciting, but I know a lot of my friends who don't like video games don't like interactive entertainment at all.
Yeah.
Theirs is very much a passive thing of I put on Netflix and I can play on my phone, I can play with the cats, the dogs, the kids, whatever we want to do, and it's there and I get to watch it. But I don't want to take 5-6 hours out of my day to choose the own adventure of this character.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Not everyone enjoys the same kind of entertainment. That's not a big deal. I'm just curious to see how big this is and how popular it becomes for Netflix.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think there's a lot of potential, especially as someone who actually loves visual novels. I mean, I've mentioned it many times on this podcast. The Danganronpa franchise is my all-time favorite game series, and that's all visual novels.
Amazing series too. If you guys haven't checked that out before we have to end things or whatever, check that out.
It's so good.
Recommend it.
So I do think there's a lot of potential. But you've got to have the right story behind it, and I really do think starting out that format with Black Mirror was not the best example, because a lot of people don't watch Black Mirror because
Yeah, it's a little out
Content.
there for some people.
Like, this particular Black Mirror episode was actually fairly tame compared to some of the things we've seen. Seriously!
Fair.
But you know, had it started with, say, Stranger Things, which a lot more people watch, might be a bit better. So yeah. Anyway, now I'm thinking about the very first Black Mirror episode I ever. Nation.
It was what? You cut out.
Hated in the Nation, the B episode.
Oh, okay.
I happened to just walk in on an episode of my friends watching it, and I was like, "Oh, what is this dark show that I'm watching at the current moment?"
Yeah, I watched the B episode first, and then the Pig episode second. So.
The Pig episode was the first one I watched.
I am so sorry.
Yeah, that was brutal for sure.
I think that's where I started too. Like, I think because you said it was the very first episode, so I just hit start and just kind of went through it. But yeah, that's an interesting thing. There's not a whole lot of news from it yet, other than basically said they're gonna do it, and that they're gonna be there. So I'm curious to see what they're gonna announce and where it's gonna go, because it could be really cool, could be really interesting. I think it would be interesting to see it be in more of a game format. So, like, let's say you have a Netflix account, you can sign into it on your PC or any console that you own that has Netflix on it and stream a game of it, like more of a video game, rather than it being like a TV show that you passively watch for 30-40 minutes before you make a decision. You know, it's a little it's not quite enough involved for me. Mm-hmm. Maybe I just have a short attention span, but I get halfway through it and I'm like, I don't remember what my last choice was.
Oh yeah.
How's it going to affect the next choice? I'm like,
yeah.
I'm not involved enough to make these decisions. I need to just watch it and get the story. Or I need it to be a game where I have to read it. I have to do everything. So
absolutely.
But who knows? Maybe they're going to make something awesome. Maybe it'll flop. We'll find out probably just a little bit after E3.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So yeah, I think that pretty much does it for now, guys. Do you guys have any other thoughts on anything we talked about tonight that maybe just came into your head that we missed earlier?
Nope.
No, I think I'm good on that one. And before we exit the show, you guys have been absolutely awesome for having me on the episode. Everyone that has been watching the Chopstixninjah episode on the side there through the Twitch channel, you guys have been absolutely amazing. You guys have tuned in. Thank you for coming to the broadcast. We will be live tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on the Twitch channel. You guys have been absolutely awesome. Thank you to MPI and Mallet for having me on this episode. I've been having anxiety attacks for the last month, breathing and doing all my exercises for doing this episode. It has been totally awesome streaming to you world and to everybody else that has been tuning in. Thanks, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Fancy.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I'm glad that we could get you on, and thanks for hanging with us after. If you guys don't know, Chopstixninjah was supposed to be a guest about a month ago, and Mallet and I were both sick, so we canceled the episode. And also, hey, thanks for doing my job for me. I didn't even have to ask you to plug yourself. You just did it. It's awesome. I wish more people did that.
I was saving the radio show host thing for the end. I had to keep it to the end. I wasn't stealing the show because I could have done that all day long, but I was just like, nah, I can't do that.
Yeah, that's what I need.
Totally
awesome. Mallet, remind us of what you've got going on, because I know you're excited.
It's my birthday on Sunday! Yay! So we are having an awesome, amazing birthday stream starting at 2 p.m. Eastern. We're going to play lots of games. We're gonna use lots of party horns. I have a new emote now, and it's a bloody cleaver. So now when I murder people, you guys can throw cleavers too. Yay!
I want to throw cleavers.
But yeah, so it's going to be a fair bit of fun. I'm very excited. I'm going to be 25. So if anybody wants to come hang out, it starts at 2 p.m. Eastern, and I'll be going as long as I feel like it. So
you
yes,
answered my question earlier because I was asking when that was going to be, so we can all tune in.
yay! And see, hey, Mark is using my new bloody cleaver.
Yeah.
Yay!
All right,
So,
guys.
yes.
As always, I'm MPI. You can find me here on the MPI channel, which is the channel that you're currently in. We have been playing some Pokemon Let's Go. We just finished Breath of the Wild, beat Ganon first try. No deaths, just saying. That was pretty exciting. So we're hopefully starting a new story-based game here soon. Might just do some more Pokemon, and we're looking into maybe some more creative streams. So keep an eye out for those. Guys, the other thing is we have a small announcement. The episodes will no longer be releasing on Monday. They will be on Tuesdays. So just one day different. The time is the same. The day is different. So keep an eye out on YouTube or your favorite podcasting platform if you came in late tonight or just want to catch the episode again. If you came in late because I didn't hit enter on my announcement in Discord, that's my fault. I hope you go back and listen on Tuesday on your favorite podcasting platform or YouTube, whichever you'd prefer. Guys, to end the night like we usually do, we're going to raid another TRU affiliate. Anapeel is live with some Final Fantasy 14, so we're going to go raid that lovely man, guys. We all know Anapeel. He's around the fam a lot, so go hang out, have some fun. Check out the episode on Tuesday. Again, Tuesday. Don't forget, guys. And we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Absolutely.
Bye.